Today is Azure pickup day, so I need a crock pot meal so I can leave and come back and dinner will be almost completely ready to eat. So we're going to do a chicken with some broth gravy, and I'm thinking, I'm kind of tossed, do I want to put a stuffing mix on top, or do I want to make instant potatoes because I don't have enough real potatoes to make mashed potatoes. I think I'm going to do the instant potatoes. I brought the bag of breadcrumbs just in case. I don't think I'm going to do that. All right, let's get started. We're going to use one of our home cut up whole chickens. We call these fryer parts, minus the wings because we always save the wings for a future meal. I'm going to be using some Herb de Provence. I love the flavor of Herb de Provence. And you're probably thinking, wow, Grammy, that's a big jar of Herb de Provence. I get all my herbs and spices from Azure Standard. It is cheaper per unit when you buy a large amount. This was a pound of Herb de Provence, and this is not all of it. I still have some more left in the bag in my backup spice buckets for future. So much cheaper than buying those little bitty jars at the grocery store. All right, let's get started on this chicken. So I took out a whole cut up fryer part chicken out of the freezer, but we need to make our spice blend first. I am going to add 2 teaspoons of Herb de Provence in this little ramekin, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Get that all mixed in really well. There we go. So I have one of our jars of homemade chicken broth. This is a pint. I'm gonna make a cornstarch slurry. So I am gonna put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in this bowl. I'm gonna add a little bit of our chicken broth. Make that into a slurry. Make sure all that cornstarch is dissolved. And as the crock pot heats up, it'll heat up our broth and it will activate this slurry. All right, now we can set that aside. Our herbs, let's take care of this chicken. All right, so we have a drumstick, a thigh, another drumstick. And we'll give that a good pat dry. I don't want to add any more moisture to our crock pot than we need to. Okay, and let's do the other half. And then we have 4 pieces of breast that we cut in half. Give that a good pat down. Now this still has the bone and the skin. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and place our chicken bone side down in the bottom of our crock pot base. Let me go wash my hands real quick, family. We're going to add our season blend. our chicken broth. And our cornstarch slurry. Put the lid on. Put this in our crock-pot base. I'm going to hit it on low. 6 hours. And that way dinner is cooking for us while we go get our Azure order. Of course, I will show you, well, you know what? You've already seen that. That came out this past Tuesday. If you haven't seen the Azure haul, I'm going to leave it right there. And you go check out what we got this month from Azure. And also it will be in the description below. So I'll bring you right back when we're ready to have dinner. First we need to make the mashed potatoes, which is going to be super, super simple. And I might do either green beans or broccoli. Find out if the husband wants green beans. If not, I'll do broccoli because I like broccoli. Okay, family, I'll see you in a couple hours. The chicken has been in the crock pot for 6 hours. It turned to the warm setting, so it's going to be staying warm until we're ready to eat. I got some water on the stove for the instant potatoes. Husband and I decided we wanted corn. So I have a can of whole corn. Just going to give it a little pinch of pepper. Pinch of salt. Took some butter out of the refrigerator. About a tablespoon of butter. And I'm just going to put this on the stove. Medium-low heat. And the water that I have on the stove, we'll start off with about a tablespoon and a half of butter. Then all we got to do is add salt and pepper, milk, and the instant potato flakes. But the chicken, family, it smells so good in here. That Herb de Provence, if you haven't tried it, you really need to. So I'm going to go, oh, the chicken's falling apart. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and take the chicken out. Oh yes, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Oh yeah, it's coming apart. Gorgeous. And as for the broth, I want to strain it best I can. Okay. Into a fine mesh strainer into this measuring cup. Look at this beautiful gravy we made with some broth, Herb de Provence, and a little bit of cornstarch to make a slurry. That's ready. Butter water has come to a boil. That's probably about two and a half cups of water, maybe 3 cups of water. I'm going to add about a half a cup to 3/4 cups of milk. Add some pepper and some salt. And we have our instant potato flakes. Just add it in very slowly. The longer they sit, the more hydrated they'll get, and it'll thicken up beautiful. Turn the corn down just a bit. All right, let's check on that. I'm going to add just a little bit more butter, maybe another half a tablespoon. Stir that in. I love buttery potatoes. Do you remember the video we did where we made homemade sour cream? If you've never tried sour cream in mashed potatoes, try it, family. It is so good. I'm probably putting about 1/4 cup. Stir that in really well. Need some more potato flakes. All right, beautiful. Dinner's ready. I want to taste it for seasoning. Oh, you can taste that sour cream. I believe it needs a little bit more pepper and a little bit more salt. Now, if you can see, there's a little fat line on top of our gravy. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about that. Is flavor. Fat equals flavor. Our corn is ready. Potatoes are ready. Chicken's ready. Broth gravy is ready. The husband is not home yet, but I'm not going to make you wait till he gets here for us to sample this dinner. So I've got a little bit of corn. Potatoes, and I'll get a very small piece of chicken. There's one right there. And our brothy gravy. Quick, easy dinner. Started off this morning in the crock pot. All right, so the potatoes, try it with that sour cream, family. You'll be surprised. And that, it's not really a gravy because it's not thick. It's just a thicker broth flavored with that Herb de Provence. Really good. Plus we have corn. That is just salt, pepper, butter. Really easy side dish. And then our chicken that we had on low in the crock pot with some Herb de Provence, some chicken broth with a little bit of cornstarch slurry to thicken it up a bit. Had it cooking for 6 hours. Family. Oh, that is so good. That is delicious. In the description below will be all the recipes, the links to all videos that pertain to this week's meals, such as how to cut up a whole chicken. I need to get some potatoes so I can make some mashed potato balls and keep them in the freezer. I'm happy with this. The next meal we're going to make this week is going to be this chili and rice I had in the freezer. We cleaned out the freezer together, and I took this out because I need to use it. It's been in there for quite some time. And I just put it in a vacuum sealed bag. I want to make sure we get all the goodness out of here. And I'm just going to put this on the stove, let it heat up. While we prepare some bread. For some grilled cheese sandwiches. So I'm just going to put butter on one side of 4 slices of bread. So I have the large cast iron skillet on the stovetop on medium heat. I'm going to add 2 slices of bread, butter side down, let that heat up. And I have some pepper jack cheese. We got this on our last Azure haul. Makes delicious grilled cheese sandwiches. I'm going to put the other slice butter side up. Let that cook and melt that cheese. Keep an eye on the soup or the chili. I don't have a lid for this large skillet, so I'm using a pizza pan as a lid. So the grilled cheese is ready. I'm cutting them into sticks so we can dunk them in the chili. And the chili is ready. How's that for an easy, quick dinner? So this is something we had in the freezer. I took it out when we were cleaning out the freezer a bit, but it looks like it's got black beans and kidney beans, some rice. I don't even know what's in here. Doesn't need any salt or pepper. Perfect. And I like cutting the grilled cheese into sticks. It makes it easy to dunk. Boy, that is so good. Well, the husband and I are going to sit down and eat dinner. I'll see you next time we get together. It's time to cook dinner again. So the next meal we're going to make is that fish. We found it in our freezer. I think that video came out this past Tuesday. Go check it out. We dealt with the freezers. We made frozen pizzas. We made some butter. We tried to organize the freezer. We didn't get it the way we wanted it or needed it done, but it's done. And we got all of our cheese in there. Whew. But while we were cleaning out the freezer, I found some fish that I had breaded quite some time ago. And I think it's flounder. We're eating it anyway. I'm not wasting anything. So it's 4 pieces of breaded flounder. I'm just going to go ahead and cook it all. Whatever we don't eat tonight, we can have for lunch tomorrow. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to put these in there and just until they're thawed. Done, crispy, probably about 25-30 minutes, but I'll let you know. I have some water on the stove coming up to a boil. We're going to cook 6 ounces of macaroni pasta. And we're going to make a macaroni and cheese using the pepper jack cheese we got from Azure Standard a week ago. So I have some salted water, let it come up to a boil, added the macaroni, it is done. Turn the burner off, and I'm going to put this in a strainer in the sink. So I have a good tablespoon of butter. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, small pinch of pepper, and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of flour. I'm going to cook that flour in that seasoned butter just for a minute or two, just to cook away some of that raw flour taste. This is called a roux. Flour and a fat is a roux. I have 1 cup of milk. And I want the milk to start thickening up just a bit. When the milk gets hot, it'll activate that roux and it'll thicken up beautiful. When you add milk to a roux, that's called a bechamel. I'm going to give that a minute or two. I do want to check on the fish. I want to give them a flip. They've been in there for a little bit over 10 minutes. They are nowhere near ready. They're actually still very cold. I don't want to lose any of that breading. Back in the oven. All right, I can see our bechamel is thickening up. Beautiful. So in this bowl, I have about 3.5 ounces of pepper jack cheese. I have 1 ounce of Parmesan cheese, and I have 1.5 ounces of mozzarella. Total 6 to 6.5 ounces of cheese. I'm going to stir that into this bechamel until the cheese melts, becomes ooey and gooey. Then we can add our pasta. I do want to taste it for salt and pepper. Just needs a little bit of salt and just a small pinch of pepper. I know it's a lot of cheese. The cheese pasta ratio is going to be crazy. So I'm going to add our cooked macaroni. I didn't even rinse this macaroni. Still has all of its starch intact. Stir that in. How simple. Stop buying boxed macaroni and cheese, family. Make the real thing. Turn the burner off. I'm going to put the lid on. That's ready. We're just waiting on the fish. So the macaroni and cheese is done. We're just waiting on that fish. Fish needs to reach 145 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature. So we're just going to cook it until we reach that temperature. We have 4 minutes left of the original 20 minutes. I think it was 20 minutes. But it's going to take longer than that. I'm going to go ahead and extend it for another 15 minutes. So it's going to be like 35, 40 minutes total. And then dinner will be ready. The fish is done. So I cooked it the initial 20 minutes. And then I added the 15 minutes. And then I added another 5 minutes. But it's done. Temperature is reading. The temperature is reading over 195 degrees. I can see some rosemary in here. I don't know what else is in here, but there's a lot of seasoning. I'm sure it's sweet paprika because it's very orangey looking. The husband's not home. He's not ready to eat. So I'm just going to take a piece of fish. And some of their ooey gooey 3-cheese macaroni and cheese. Tartar sauce is not something I usually have in my house, but I have mayonnaise. I have relish. And I have homemade sour cream. Probably about a tablespoon of mayonnaise, a tablespoon of sour cream, and a teaspoon of the relish. It's not tartar sauce, but it's close enough. So I'm going to try some of this fish with that homemade tartar sauce. Oh my goodness, I wish I could remember what I put on this fish. That is really good. Oh, yummy. And there are 3 cheese, macaroni and cheese. I wish you were here, Liam. That is perfect. So when the husband gets home, we're going to sit down and have dinner and wait to bring you back on our next meal. What is it going to be? I don't know. I need to take something out of the freezer. I know exactly what we're going to have. Let me go to the freezer and grab something, and we'll have that tomorrow. The last meal we're going to make this week is actually going to be a hamburger helper, no box needed. If you saw the video from Tuesday and plus this coming Tuesday, you'll see that we don't have any beef in our freezer. So I am actually going to use our homemade breakfast sausage in place of the beef for the no box needed hamburger helper. I did make a single batch of macaroni. You know, we have the Philips 7000 pasta machine, and it comes with their own measuring cup. So it's their one measuring cup with 1 egg, oil, salt, and water that is needed for the cup of flour. I made it about 45 minutes to an hour ago. It's sitting here on the table. If you want a more in-depth video on how the Philips 7000 works, I'll leave some links in the description below. Go check it out. I love that pasta machine. I did a lot of research on which pasta machine I wanted, and that's the one I wanted, and that's what the husband got us. Let's move over to the stove and start cooking this 1 skillet, no box needed hamburger helper. I have the large 12-inch cast iron skillet on the stovetop. I'm going to add just a half a tablespoon of avocado oil. We'll let that heat up to be a nice hot pan. Then we can start cooking our sausage. This is 8 ounces of homemade breakfast sausage. I'm going to cook this until it's about 90% cooked. That way it can finish cooking in our sauce. We add all the ingredients and the pasta. So the pork is actually cooked about 90%. I have one of our home frozen tomato paste. Whenever we have tomato paste left over in the little cans, I'll put it in parchment paper, put it in a Ziploc bag, and stick it in the freezer. 1 tablespoon measure. That way we're not wasting it, and it's ready for us whenever we need it. So this is some homemade taco seasoning. I'm using a half tablespoon measure. I'm only going to put 1.5 tablespoons of taco seasoning because our pork already has some seasoning, so I don't want to over season this dish. I have a 4-ounce can of diced chilies. I have about a cup of frozen corn. Two cups of chicken broth and 2 cups of water. I'm going to let this come up to a simmer. Let it cook for a few minutes to make sure that the sausage is cooked. Then we're going to add our pasta. I lost you there for a second. So I went ahead and added a pint-sized jar of home canned lima beans, and then we went ahead and added the pasta. You can use dry pasta. You might have to keep an eye on the water level of your dish because dry pasta does absorb a lot of liquid. So just make sure you add enough water for the dry pasta and keep an eye on it. We have the 1 pint of chicken broth and 1 pint of water. I still need to keep an eye on the water level to make sure that it's not absorbing too much water. I want to make sure that pasta is in the liquid. I don't want to stir it too vigorously. I haven't tasted it yet. I want to make sure that pork is cooked all the way. And now we're going to wait till the pasta cooks. Alright, I'm going to give that about 20 minutes to make sure it comes up to a boil and cooks that pasta about 3 to 4 minutes. So we just want to make sure we're scraping the bottom to make sure it's not sticking and the pasta stays under the liquid. So we're going to let that cook for about 20 minutes. Make sure some of that liquid evaporates. Then we're going to taste it for seasoning. Liquid is evaporating beautiful. I do want to taste it for salt and pepper or even taco seasoning. I think it needs just a pinch of salt. Just a little bit of pepper. I don't think it needs any more taco seasoning, so the 1.5 tablespoons is perfect. I do want some more of this liquid to evaporate. I have it on a medium heat, and I'm coming in here every now and then just giving it a good stir and scraping the bottom, trying not to disturb those pasta noodles too much. Oh, it's starting to thicken up. Beautiful. The starch from that pasta, it's thickened up our broth. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, I think we have another 10 minutes left. I think we are ready to move on. It's thick enough. So we had the green chilies, the lima beans, corn, the breakfast sausage, the pasta, tomato paste, taco season, chicken broth, and water. It's beautiful. And there's one more ingredient we're going to add, and that's some pepper jack cheese. This is 2 cups of pepper jack cheese. We're just going to add it right on the top. And I don't have a lid for the large skillet, so I'm going to use a pizza pan. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner off, let the residual heat melt that cheese. Okay, the no box needed hamburger helper is ready. Oh, family, that looks so good. I'm going to start scooping some up. Oh, it's thick and beautiful. So this week we had Crockpot Chicken with Herb de Provence, instant mashed potatoes, and corn. The second meal we had the chili and rice we found in our freezer with some grilled cheese sandwiches. The third meal we had was the fish we found in the freezer and macaroni and cheese. And today we're having no box needed, hamburger helper, taco, and pasta, but using breakfast sausage instead of beef. Any recipes or links to anything we did this week will be in the description below. But if you would, leave a comment and tell me what was your favorite out of all the things we made this week. Plus, what are you excited to try? That's actually really good with the breakfast sausage. I still taste all the herbs and spices in the breakfast sausage as well as the taco seasoning. That is really good. Oh, family, I'm happy with this dish. So if you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. You will know each and every time we have a video coming out. So this is what we ate this week. I can't wait to bring you back in the kitchen and we'll create something new, something delicious, and something healthy. All from scratch. Bye, family. You have a wonderful day. I'm going to have to write this in my recipe book. That's really good.